you were at Comic-Con,
I
Michael.
was.
You were at Comic-Con, and that's not really a sports thing, but I know they sell some sports merch there at some of the booths. You were there doing some interviews, right, for like wrestling or something? What were you doing there?
No, I was there. I actually was there. I got to go with Frank the Tank. If everybody knows Frank the Tank, we were there, and he got to do
Well, I
something.
don't know personally, but
yeah, he got to do something there for Barstool with Ric Flair. So Frank's a great guy. He's actually trying to build up his subscribers on YouTube, so go subscribe. But me, him, and his buddy Matt, we were walking around. In terms of sports stuff, they had starting lineups. One guy was dressed as a New York Yankee in a full uniform. Pretty much it. Otherwise, the thing so I got to meet Mickey from Seinfeld, the actor who played Mickey from Seinfeld. I got to meet him and get my picture with him. And then I met two of the guys that were in the Warriors. So I met Cochise and Vermin, which was awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah,
that was cool. I got pictures with Vermin, and Cochise was in the background. I think I was supposed to get a picture with both, but it just didn't have time. But the problem was, and you had texted me to see if I can find a shirt for your buddy, which if I had seen it, I would have gotten it. But the problem was there was no Wi-Fi in the place. And then they said, oh, you have to go to the ATM because with no Wi-Fi, the Warriors guys, they couldn't take credit cards. They were like, we wanted to, but they were getting pissed about that they couldn't, like they were losing fans and money.
I've never been to Comic-Con in New York City.
It's at the Javitts Center.
It is Javitts Center, which is a big convention center. It is absolutely one of the most crowded experiences of your life. Like picture like when you're at a ball game and the game lets out at the end and everyone's like shuffling towards the exit. You can't walk more than 8 steps a minute. It's that, except all day, everywhere you are inside the entire Javits Center. It's crowded. It's a nightmare.
And more BO and dandruff than usual.
Yeah,
too.
There was a lot of BO.
There was a lot of BO.
Definitely there, and a lot of scantily clad women, which that I appreciate. Big fan of the scantily clad women dressed up like video game characters.
There was pretty much there was that. There was scantily clad. There was a lot of incels. There was scantily clad men. I mean, there was a lot of everything there.
It is definitely. I want to touch on that for a minute, actually, Brian, because I've been to cons that are not New York and in New York. You do have a weird mix of like women who like put a lot of really like effort into their costumes and who, for the most part, aren't that socially awkward. And then you have just a bunch of just like dudes who like the stereotype of the dudes who never leave the basement and just post like memes on the internet. Like those guys are well represented at Comic-Con. That is absolutely a thing.
Yeah, they are. I haven't been to Comic-Con in like a while. I used to play hooky and go to Comic-Con in high school. Like every year I'd call out sick and then we would just go to New York. Wouldn't tell our parents. Me and a few of my friends.
Just hop on the bus.
Well, yeah. And I met Lou Ferrigno too, and Lou Ferrigno tried to charge $40 for an autograph, and I was like, "No, you're not worth." I told Lou Ferrigno straight up to his face, "I'm like, no, you're not worth it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We don't remember the '70s Hulk, okay? You are not worth $40 at all, Lou Ferrigno.
Especially when you're a teenager, that's a lot of money."
Yeah, I met him at I was going to say, I met him at another Comic-Con. There was a competing one called the Big Apple Comic-Con, different owners, and he was there. And I got deaf guy asshole confusion because I was talking to him and he wasn't looking at me. And I'm like, is he just ignoring me or is it because he couldn't hear me? So I had, like the Curb Your Enthusiasm shy asshole confusion. I had deaf guy asshole confusion.
There you go.
With Lou Ferrigno.
So I want to finish the thought I had a second ago. So you're at the Comic-Con and you have these like socially awkward dudes and you have these like, women who aren't as socially awkward but are dressed up, often scantily clad, which throws dudes for a curveball.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish. I'm sorry. The women are the opposite. They're very outgoing, which is the difference.
They're very bubbly. They're very nice.
Very outgoing. But yeah, go ahead.
It got so there's this convention that I went to, not in New York, but this other convention years ago that I've been to, because I've done some nerd shit in my life, where there was a panel towards the beginning of the weekend called Cosplay is Not Consent, where they had to explain to people in detail, like, just because you're dressed up as a certain anime character and a woman is dressed up as the love interest of that's fiction. You can't just walk up to her and start touching her or kissing her or whatever just because they're dressed up. You're not that person in real life. You can't, like, and they'd explain to people that like it's not okay to do that.
There's a lot of accepted partial nudity at these conventions.
Yes. Well, and dudes who aren't used to that in real life, it's like it sends their brains to a very certain place where they just don't know how to act. It's a very weird.
It just sends them into overdrive. It just they
yeah, no, it does.
Yeah,
100%. No, it definitely does. And so anyway, the panel, it was stories of a bunch of like do this, don't do this, and then people were allowed to tell stories of like weird things that have happened to them at these cons. And one of them was there was a story of this lady who she apparently just like rode the elevator up and down like the hotel, the convention center, and she would just grab dudes' junks just out of nowhere. And she did it for like 4 hours, 5 hours, and no one said anything, which I thought was pretty funny. So there's some crazy lady who apparently was just at this con who would just ride the elevator and just grab dudes' dicks and they get onto the elevator just for hours on end.
This wasn't Exotica?
I don't know. No, it was like a normal like nerd con, and so it goes both ways, but it's mostly men. I'll say that much.
Well, it's like jackpot for the guys who like women, and you know if they're in their basement, they have no social skills. There's a big lack
and that's what I thought was funny.
Social skills,
was that if it was a dude, that guy would have gotten arrested within like 45 minutes. But if in fact it was a woman, like no one said anything.
No, men are different. Because men we're pathetic. Absolutely.
I hate to break up this conversation about sexual harassment, but I do have a proposal that you know it would be amazing.
Brian, I'm flattered. I'd like you as a friend, but I'm not. I don't swing that way.
Well, you know,
you do work out with the football players.
Yeah. But no, I have my proposal is that, oh my God, wouldn't it be amazing? And I don't know if this exists, but we should do a Nosebleeders episode if there was like if we saw like a fight that happened at Comic-Con, like
that nerd brawl.
Yeah, that's acceptable. Yeah.
Oh my God,
no, we could do
nerd
that.
brawl would be amazing.
Be like, I'm wearing my +4 strike ring. You know,
well, if they have weapons and they would,
that
would be interesting.
Oh fuck, what's that called? Where they fight LARPing? Have you ever been to a LARPing thing?
Right. Yeah, live action role play.
I mean, LARPing gone wrong would be an amazing Nosebleeders episode.
You
know?
Oh, dude, we have to find that exists somewhere. We have to find that. We have
to
find
that. Two overweight Lord of the Ring fans dressed up as Gandalf, just like beating the shit out of each other.
Like, no, I cast in my protection bubble before you hit me, you son of a bitch, and they just start beating the shit out of each other. That'd be fucking great.
But they fight in character. They don't fight as themselves. They stay in full character when they fight.
Yeah.
You shall not pass. That would be the best.